welcome back to my channel for today's video. Another day with no makeup and my hair still isn't done, but that's okay because today's video is exciting and it's a DIY and I'm not sure how it's gonna go. So today I am having a huge cup of coffee. To start the video, I want to show you guys my new Bible I got. I ordered this on Amazon. I'll have it linked down below for you. I don't think it was very expensive. If I remember right, it was definitely under $30. Just got it yesterday, so I was studying in it yesterday and I really like it so far. But I am DIYing some Bible tabs for in my new Bible. So before we jump into the DIY portion of the video, I want to show you the Bible a little bit. So this is the She Reads Truth Bible. I really like this Bible for a lot of different reasons. The main reason that I chose this Bible is because I wanted something that wasn't an NIV Bible. That is what I found is like the most common Bible, especially in my house. We have like 2 Bibles that aren't NIV, so I just wanted a different kind of word to study. So this is a CSB, which if you're not familiar with, stands for Christian Standard Version or Christian Standard Bible. So far I really like it. It's really easy to understand. When I was studying James, I was comparing it with my old Bible that wasn't NIV, and they were not too different, but this one was definitely easier to understand. Another thing that I really love about this is that there is devotions in it. So every couple of pages there is a devotion. They really break things down. So like this is a timeline of events for the chapter. And then they also do like a chapter summary at the beginning of each chapter, which I like. It kind of makes me think of like the Message Bible a little bit, but in an actual Bible. For example, like here is the first page of the chapter Daniel. You can see there's like an art page, and then this is like an overview of the whole chapter, which I just think is so wonderful because it sets you up for your study. That way you understand what you're reading, and then it breaks it down in so many more ways. And I'm still starting to learn a lot about this Bible. Like I said, I just got it yesterday, so there's a lot I don't know about it yet. But what I do know is that I love it. And then there are wide margins for note-taking. And that is what I wanted to say. That was another thing that I loved about this, is I wanted one that didn't have lines, but I also wanted one that I could still, like that still had wide margins that I could take my notes in. So with all that being said, this is it without the thing. There's just a little Bible there. I think the side is so cute. Just plain, and it's not, I don't know what the feeling of this is. It feels like a school textbook. If you know what that feeling is, that's what this feels like. Anyway, so that's my Bible. Again, I ordered it on Amazon. It will be linked down below. Okay guys, so before we go into me like actually showing you the DIY portion of this video, I want to show you like what we're doing first. So you can see I made my own little Bible tabs and I'm obsessed with them. They do stick out, some of them a little more than I'd like, so I may go back in and fix a couple of them, but I kind of like that they're not perfect. Like for that actually really surprised me because I am very OCD and particular, so I actually really love the way it turned out. So before I show you how we do this, I filmed it all so you get to see everything. I want to show you guys like what you're gonna need. These guys, I made mine on Procreate. I drew out the, on my Procreate is on my iPad, I don't know if I said that. Like I drew out the tabs and then I colored them in with the watercolor brush. Now if you don't have an iPad that you can draw with or have an Apple Pencil or whatever, don't worry, like this is not just like a Apple friendly DIY. No, like you can totally hand draw this. You can totally use scrapbook paper and trace out a template. You can water paint a piece of cardstock paper, let it all dry, and then draw in and write your Bible name, like the chapter names on. You can totally do that. So there are so many different ways, and don't be afraid to be creative. Put your own spin on it, make this your own, and that is like what I really want to stress, because you are making your own Bible tabs. Like you are making these for your own Bible. You're not buying these off Etsy. You're not going to Christian bookstore to find them. Like that's what I really like, is that these are so versatile and so creative that you can make them the way you want them. So that was the first thing. So you need either paint, paper, things like that. You need an iPad and a printer otherwise, or you could probably even do something like that on Microsoft. I'm not too familiar with it, but you could probably finagle something like that. I used a fine liner pen, and this is a .38 size black pen. I did order these on Amazon as well. I will leave these linked down below. And there were a couple times I did need to pull out my Sharpie for after I had already laminated it that I needed to make changes. So just a Sharpie pen. So any kind of black pen, probably not like a ballpoint pen, but like a felt, probably like a felt tip pen would be the word I would use. And definitely like a fine point too, because you aren't going to be able to make them very big because they are obviously Bible tabs. Next, you will definitely need scissors to cut everything out once it's all said and done. And you're going to need a variety of tapes or a laminating machine, which I didn't have. I don't know how many people have those. But the first tape I used was the Scotch Permanent Double-Sided Tape. Love this. This is what I used to adhere the Bible tabs into the pages. I've loved this. I've used this for years. This is my favorite double-sided tape because you don't have to peel off any layers. Like, both sides are sticky as is. And then to laminate my tabs, which you don't have to do, I did it just so that way if it would get wet, if it would get, that it's not going to wear off, because I did print mine, so I didn't want the ink to rub off any, just like things like that. So once I had written on the chapter names, then I went and did Scotch shipping tape over everything to laminate the individual tabs. And then the only other thing is something that I made, and it was like a little ruler. And I just kind of measured the pages in my Bible and like marked where I wanted my tabs to like be staggered, just so that way I knew they were laying where they're supposed to be. But that's honestly all you need to make your own Bible tabs. So we're just gonna go into the DIY now. But I use Procreate on my iPad, and I will kind of put over here like the time lapse of what I did. But basically I went in and I drew out the tab shape that I'll end up cutting out, and then I just colored with like a watercolor paintbrush in the back and came up with a bunch of different tabs that I can cut out. So that's kind of what I spent last night doing. So that's not really what this is focused on. One way to do this would be use scrapbook paper. If you have that able to use, I would use scrapbook paper because it will be a little bit more durable. Now I did use a heavier, it's not quite cardstock, but I did use a heavier printer paper, and I just printed a bunch out, and I kind of stuck to my colors of like the nude pink and like a pastel green. And I printed out some different things, like some different shaped ones, like these ones will be rounded at, these will be flat, and then I obviously have like the traditional like rectangular ones. So the first thing I have to do is go and write all the Bible names on these papers. So that is going to be the first step, I think, and I'm not sure. I don't have a lamination machine, but I do have a lot of tape. So I was like, do I like tape them to make them waterproof? Do I just double side tape them into my book? I'm not really sure yet. So right now I'm going to go fill these out and write the books of the Bible on, write the index, write all that good stuff. So you guys can see a little time lapse of that, and then we'll touch base when I'm done. I've gotten them all like written out here You can see like I did print extra. Whoa, I did print extra, so like it's fine that I did mess some up. Double check your spelling. Your girl sucks at spelling. And then I also wanted to add a couple like with little circles, like so I did like Ezra, Ruth, Old Testament, like those labels in like little smaller circle ones, just to add like some something something. So what I'm gonna do now, because I don't have a laminating machine at my house or whatever you would use to laminate things, is I have this roll of like clear Scotch tape, and my plan is to like laminate this with tape, and I'm doing it before I cut it because I think that's going to be the easiest option. Okay, so you can have it. It's got like a laminated cover over it now with Scotch tape. Okay, so we have all of them laminated. I have a slight issue. My printer wouldn't work, so I kind of like winged it with like my I literally had 3 chapters left. My battery's dying. But I have 3 chapters left, so I had to like figure out how to do Revelation, but it's fine. I made it work. So now what I'm going to do is go cut these out and then try to figure out how we're going to glue them in. I'm gonna finish cutting these out, and then I'm going to try to make like a, I don't want to call it a ruler, but like some kind of like little system on how I'm going to like stagger them down, because I'm like a little OCD, and that's the thing that's stressing me out. Or you shouldn't feel like you need to have like an iPad that you can draw on or anything special, because you can easily just use this with things around the house that you already have, and this is just what I had and then what worked best for what I'm doing. So I'll be back. So I have a pretty good system here, so now I'm going to show you guys like what I'm actually doing. So I made a little ruler. You can see I have little blue ticks and then I have pink lines, and that's because I'm kind of staggering them. Not a whole ton, like one starts right at the top of the page and then one goes in just a smidge, then top, then like maybe half an inch. So I am kind of doing that just so they don't all perfectly line up. So that's what this piece of paper that I keep moving around is. It's like my little ruler. And so now we are the 4th one down on the blue lines, so we're down to here. And my Bible thankfully has this dark border at the first page of each chapter, and I've kind of been using that to like show where I want like the edge of these to be. That way they're all around the same. We don't have some sticking out a bunch and some like tucked in pretty well. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I take my little thing, and I've actually found it's easier to put the tape on here than onto this. And for the tape that I'm using, it's just the Scotch permanent side double-sided tape. So I'm taking a little piece of that. Then I line this guy up and I see, okay, I want it right here at that blue tick. So I put it on there, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's a little bit of that sticking up over the edge. Like it's not perfectly lined up, because you would rather it stick more onto here, because if it sticks farther down on the paper and your tab doesn't cover it, your pages are obviously going to be stuck together. So then I just kind of line it up, make sure I can still see my words out. And then I flip the page, make sure it's just one page. Take another little piece of tape. And then I do the same thing on the back side. And then just fold down the other side of the tab. And that's just what I've been doing. And it honestly is turning out so much better than I thought. Granted, I also just looked at the clock and I ate in between and stuff and was talking, but I realized I've been at this for like 5 hours as far as like from the beginning of the project to the end. So when you do this, make sure you have time.